renting by default. I mean, renting just by itself is just not a good investment.
Well, what's not good about it? I mean, I don't have to do anything. I don't have, the landlord takes care of everything. I mean, I just, come and go. So,
you come and go as long as the landlord says you can come and go. So the landlord can change your housing situation at any moment, regardless. Even if you have a lease, it doesn't matter, right? So that's number one. Number two, you're not building any wealth for yourself. You're not building any security for yourself. So even as a millennial, I tell folks, even if you're going to be in an area temporarily, if you think about what you're going to spend in rent for 5 years or 4 years while you're in college or whatever it is, add that up. Or even think about what you're paying for a dorm.
Yeah, right? Louis, it sounds good and everything, man, but I don't have the money for down payment and closing costs and all those things. So what do I do there?
You might. Listen, there's a lot of no money down programs. So I would at least look into that option, okay? And the reason being is because you are going to start developing investments for yourself. And the younger you can start, the better it is, because the more investment properties you have, well, it's just going to set you up for the future. So that way you can sit around and do whatever it is that you want to do all day. Okay. If you're just renting and just paying money out, you'll never see a return on that ever. You just won't. It's just an expense. So that's why, I tell folks, even college kids, I'm like, look, even, getting a condo, getting the right condo that you can rent out in the future, you're going to save money, because when you're looking at what you're paying for your condo and for your fees now, you rent that out later on. If you look at the market right now, we'll get into those comments, but I highly recommend everyone should own their property. And there's certain situations where renting makes sense, right? If you're going to be in an area temporarily, if I'm only going to live here for a year, 2 years, then so be it. If I have no interest coming back here, okay, great, right? If everything serves, as a purpose. But your mindset, your goals are, I want to own. I want to own and take advantage.
So what's your elevator pitch? How do you answer that? So what do you do for a living question?
Yeah, no, great question. So typically, I lead off with, I'm a realtor, I'm a real estate professional, but in addition to that, I also, I teach the pre-license course and the broker classes. So I'm also a coach and a trainer, for my team and for the brokerage. And then typically once you say that, they're like, oh, and it just kind of spikes their interest and we get into other conversations. But that's typically, what I lead off with.
Okay, pretty cool. Now, on social media, you put some pretty good content out there, and I could walk away saying that, hey, this guy teaches real estate. He's a family man. He loves dogs, and he's a cigar aficionado, something like that.
Yes.
So talk to me about that and tell me, what is it that people don't know about you?
They don't know about me. Wow. Well, I mean, it all depends. Honestly, it's whatever you want to know, I'll tell you. I mean, that's just, folks that know me, I guess that know me well, that work with me, is that, I'm very transparent. So whatever you want to know, I'll tell you, whether you like it or not. As far as, I don't know what people want to know, but cigars, listen, I love cigars. It's been something that I've been.
I was going to ask about it. What's up with the cigars, man? You're pretty passionate about that.
It was. I had a roommate, and he was a Marine, and he introduced me into cigars. And he said, when we're out there training and doing stuff, we would smoke these cigars. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And then it kind of reminded me of like G.I. Joe, like Sergeant Slaughter, like, the little, tail end of a cigar, like a roughneck type dude, and I'm like, so that image was in my mind. But honestly, it wasn't until I started watching The Sopranos, and it was Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini. Yeah. He was on the cover of Cigar Aficionado, and I was like, oh, look, and I picked it up, and I'm like, I don't know, like, it was just kind of like a cool thing to do, and just, I'm like, I want to get into that. I didn't really, have a lot of folks that were into that, and that was it, man.
Is it a pretty expensive hobby?
It can be. You know what? It can be. It's you get these cigars, and look, and I don't smoke like, we're not going to get like Philly Blunts or these Garcia Vegas, Swisher Sweets. Stuff that you get at the corner store. That's not going in my mouth, right? These cigars are typically anywhere from $6 to $30. And I have a few that are in the
$20 for one cigar.
One cigar, that's it. One cigar, and I'll last you about an hour and a half. So you better enjoy it and better appreciate it if you're going to spend that much money. but again, it's, but there's a difference of why that cigar is $25 worth, versus one that's $5 or $6. It's
Gotcha.
the tobacco, the structure, and the experience.
All right, I appreciate that, man. Hey, let's jump into real estate for a minute.
Sure.
Reality show is pretty big, and there's a lot of real estate show. Was it HDTV or something like that?
Yeah.
What is that difference between the reality perception and the real estate world from your perspective?
Yeah, it's all fake. It's all fake. It just doesn't. Listen, it makes for good TV, okay? And I think it serves its purpose. I think it's a good way for people to become creative, maybe, with their space as far as, figuring out what they can do and that type of stuff. So in those respects, it's great, right? And a little bit of what we go through, certain shows, right? But honestly, it's I think it's one of our challenges. And when I say our, I mean as realtors, because it's like almost daily, you're working with buyers and you're trying to educate them on the cost of actually remodeling, right? Of doing a rehab. So, they'll look at a property and they'll say, oh, well, I was watching this show and I can do this bathroom over for $1,000. I'm like, yeah, not in this market, not in this part of, of the country. Maybe if you're in the Midwest, maybe if you were in South Mexico, New Mexico, whatever, maybe. I don't know what their pricing is, but I know what pricing is up here in New England, and just the materials are going to cost you more than $1,000. So never mind the labor and all this other stuff. So it's kind of just, it's we work against it sometimes because, we're hit with that and they're like, well, you don't know what you're talking about because so-and-so on TV just did this. So now you're kind of like, all right, well, let's open up Home Depot. Let's look at the bathroom that you want. This is what the tub costs, just the tub. Never mind, everything else, the tile work and all this other stuff. So, it's a challenge. Same thing with Zillow's, another one. That's right. I'm not particularly a fan of them either, but
So you're saying the reality show kind of set the bars in terms of expectation?
Not set the bar, but I think it's a bit misleading, right? It really doesn't paint the true picture of what the cost is in the process of remodeling. And if you notice a lot of these shows at the very end, when they speed up, the fine print, it'll say, the experiences will be different with people and where you are and blah, blah, blah. The problem is that the experiences is greatly different depending on where you are in the nation, because the cost of materials and just labor overall, it's going to be different no matter where you go, so that's the challenge. But I like looking at the houses, I mean, it's fun seeing what they do for projects, it's cool. But.
Okay. Well, what about the same thing? People are attracted to real estate, but in reality, they don't make the type of money that they were hoping to make. Talk to me about that from your perspective.
Oh yeah, get into real estate, you're a millionaire. That's it, easy, no problem. So listen, as an instructor and having my own real estate school, I do get a lot of students that come in, and they're attracted to real estate because of what they see on TV, and they said, I want to be my own boss. I want to make all this money, and I want to be appreciated and all this other stuff. And sure, but what they don't realize is the amount of work that it actually takes to do that. And it's not as easy as it makes it look, they make it look like on TV. So, part of my course as we're going through the material for the exam is, I'm educating them on mindset and expectations and understanding, depending on your market too, you got to look at if you're in $1 million market, like if you're selling Beverly Hills and all this other stuff, well, by default, right? If you're working for a brokerage, you're going to sell a property, it's going to be high end, you're going to make some good money on it, right? The whole thing is to develop, a routine, a cycle, a system, so that way you're closing more than one property a month, right? But if you're in a different market where the average sale price is $150,000, $200,000. Well, guess what? For you to make that money, you're going to have to close more deals. So it's just an understanding of, listen, it's a lot of work, a lot of hours. You really have to have the right mindset to do that. It's not going to fall on your lap. It's just not. You are going to work. especially your first year, you're probably going to work more than 40 hours a week just to, you know, develop that system, really, sharpen that craft, just get everything down packed so you can really go.
So what are you saying? It's harder than a 9-to-5 job?
Oh yeah, it's a lot harder. Well, you know what? Look, if you talk to any business owner, because see, that's number one. Most folks don't realize that you're actually starting a business. This is what it is. You're when you get into real estate, you are starting a business. You are an independent contractor working for a brokerage, okay? And you have to have that business mindset. And a lot of us, to be honest with you, have no idea how to run a business. And that's by design, I think, because if you think about it, right, through education from your early years in school, elementary school and so forth, you were never really taught, at least I was never taught, that you're going to be a business owner. What you're going to do is you're going to go to school, you're going to get a good education, get a good job somewhere, work for someone, and you're going to make some money, right? You're going to make some good money, but you're going to work for someone. You're not going to be the someone that's employing all these people. So the mindset is very, very different. And it's a lot of work. And if you talk to any business owner, they'll tell you, look, we work more now than ever before. Wow. But we benefit from it, right? We can see the reward from it. It's we're able to do things in our lives that we wouldn't have been able to do if I was stuck working a 9-to-5 somewhere with a, somewhat of a steady income. But even that, it's a false sense of security.
Now, you've been doing real estate for how long?
For a little bit over 20 years now.
20 years. So that means that you survived the crash then, huh?
Yes, I did. Well, yeah, kind of.
Wow. So the question is this, what advice would you give to yourself, knowing what you know now about real estate? If you were starting all over again, what advice would you give yourself today?
Good question. So what I would do is, number one, interview more than one brokerage. Okay, that was a big mistake I made. I pretty much, I went right to, I received a postcard in the mail from an independent broker that said no desk fees, no fees. And I was broke after, taking the class and the whole nine. I'm like, oh my God. So I assumed.
Now, you're how old when you started?
I was like 24.
Okay. Wow, that's young, but go ahead.
I was a little boy. So I'm 44, 45, just right there, getting there. My birthday's in a couple months. But anyways, 24. And I'm just like, listen, I'm broke. So I'm thinking, if all these other brokerages, if they're, I'm assuming they're charging fees, I didn't want to go there, right? But I didn't understand, what the value of these other brokerages would bring. So I joined this firm, and I was there for a very long time, for about 14 years. But the firm wasn't set up to really handle. They had a different system, and especially when the market crashes, where I realized that the brokerage really made the difference, because this brokerage we weren't ready to handle the crash. So number one would be, interview different brokerages. Mm-hmm. Number two, get an idea of, understand that you're starting a business and you have some business sense, and develop a system.
Gotcha.
Develop a system.
All right. Tougher question for you. All right. Let's say that you didn't have a real estate license, mm-hmm. and you wanted to sell your house.
Okay.
Know what you know about real estate, would you sell it yourself? And if so, why?
Yes, I would. I would sell it myself because, I know what I'm doing, number one. So I know about the disclosures and what's required and so forth. I understand the motivations of the agents. I understand the motivation of the buyers. However, and two, understanding the market. Like right now we're in the seller's market. So by default, I have an advantage. But I would do that just because I'm well-versed and I know how to get creative with offers and read between the lines, okay? Mm-hmm. If I didn't have that experience, then no, I would not do that, because there's a lot of ways that sellers can get hurt on a deal. If they're just trying to save on commission. And let's be honest, right? The only reason why a seller would even think about selling it on their own is because they're thinking they're going to save money by not paying commission, which is the wrong concept to have, right? What they need to understand, or have a conversation with their broker, their agent, is how that commission helps them sell their house. That really, that's just what it comes down to, right? even, we can get into a 4% commission versus 6 or 7% and how, paying a higher commission almost pretty much guarantees that you're going to get more money for your house. Okay. Versus doing, low cutting, commissions. And we can talk about that after if you like, or that could be another question. So the whole thing is the sellers they just have that idea. So the broker, and I think that's the toughest part, is that, most agents, I would say, are not well versed in, providing their value. Like, letting the seller know, this is what I'm doing. This is why you want to pay me X amount of dollars, because I'm going to get this for your property. You follow me? So yeah, absolutely. If I didn't know anything about real estate, I absolutely would hire somebody and say, here you go, you do it and help, protect me.
All right, back to another tough question. You ready for it?
Sure.
All right, let me let this one sink in. So, knowing what you know about the real estate industry, if you could change anything, what's the one thing that you would change?
Oh boy. I would say something in regards to training. And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of agents out there that have no idea what they're doing. Maybe make it harder to become a broker, opening up your brokerage, having some rules set as far as basic knowledge that the agents need to have, more than just what's on the state exam. Because I'll be honest with you, the state exam is like taking your SATs. Like more than half the stuff you'll never touch in real life. Okay. So it's really just a waste, because
Would you say more than half?
Yeah, more than half. Like you'll never deal with it, because the way we practice, right, is the attorneys handle, how are you going to own the property? They're going to set that up for you if you do a trust or whatever it is. We're not getting involved. The financing piece of it, we're not getting involved in that. That's going to be a lender that's going to do that. It's okay to become familiar with it, right? I have an understanding of it, but I'm never going to touch it. The only thing that we're really going to touch is going to be fair housing, agency relationship, understanding, what it means to represent someone. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is the biggest challenge right now with agents, is what it means to represent someone and how that occurs. Even at open houses and stuff like that. I got people that's been in the business for over 20 years and don't fully understand what it is to be a buyer's agent, a seller's agent, and when you become a dual agent, right? They think you're working with two people, so you're a dual agent. No, there's circumstances around that. So, that's the biggest challenge. But I think, training overall, and what I mean by that is having agents, treat this as a profession, and have better guidelines, better checks and systems. We have people out there that are just kind of fly by night, just doing stuff, and we need to do a better job.
You talk about agents that fly by night?
Yeah, like, they just kind of, they get their license, they're working for a broker, and it's like, and really, again, it goes back to the training, because the broker's kind of like, well, you took the class, okay, great, you got your license, this is what it is, go get business and let's go. They don't know how to fill out a contract. They don't know the right verbiage. They don't know how to actually, how to start a business, how to actually, put together things. You know how many offers I get that really the agent just shoots me an email? I have no idea that the offer came in. It's just an email. That's it. Here you go. And then they call me the next day. Did you get my offer? When did you say? Like, just the common courtesy stuff, like, call me, right? I mean, that's part of, you have to understand, when you're representing someone.
Well, one second. Has it been that way all along? It just kind of evolved that way because of technology?
No, it's kind of evolved that way. Back in the day, back in the day for me, early 2000s, right? It was constant phone calls. Look, back in the day, we had office hours. You would sit there, phone would ring. People would actually come to the office. Now it's all electronic, but still, it's you got to have that. What do you call it? Like, it's just a courtesy part of it. I mean, anytime that I presented an offer, or other agents were presenting an offer to me, I got a phone call. Hey, Luis, here's what's going on. I just want to talk to you about the offer. My folks, whatever it is, because that rapport is actually very important. I think agents don't realize that, is that, I'll be honest with you, I've won out bids, right, for my buyers, and we were not the strongest financially. but my people have won out because of my relationship with the other agent, because that agent knew that if working with me, that number one, I've already coached my people, and that they know it's going to be a smooth transaction, right? And they know that my people are not going to be nickel and diming and all this other stuff. So they already have an expectation of what that process is going to be like. And I'm very proud of that, and I appreciate that. So, that rapport that agents have with one another is just as strong as presenting an offer that has the right verbiage in it,
I see.
and numbers.
I see. All right. So what you're saying is that, the agent has to be well connected in terms of having their go-to people and be able to solve problems on the fly and stuff like that. But most of all, it's the representation part of it.
Yes.
Help me understand the representation part of it again. Is that something that that's just intuition, or you have to be trained to really represent a client?
Oh, you have to be trained. It's a little bit of both, but I think for certain people it's natural, right? If you, I think part of the upbringing, if you were brought up a certain way where you just have to be courteous and sir and ma'am, and when you're working for someone, it's like you're really you're serving that person. You're really looking out for that person's best interest. If you have that, I guess at heart, it's easier to do that. But if not, you have to be trained. You have to be shown. And I think, especially for millennials now, where it's that's more challenging, right? You have to think about someone other than yourself, and really walk in their shoes and look at things through their perspective. And you have to be shown that. Some people just don't know what that looks like, whether it's through shadowing or what have you. But you have to do that.
All right. Well, you seem very passionate about real estate. Just you just exude that confidence. So the tough question for you is, what's your why? I mean, you brought that up earlier. So what's your why?
What's my why? Why do I get? Well, so I'll tell you. So I've actually, because you talked about when the market, when we went through the recession and so forth. So just real quickly to answer that. So the brokerage that I was with, we weren't able to handle that. We had no idea how to handle short sales, foreclosures, any of that stuff. And we went from like a 55-person office down to like 7. And at that point, I kind of got out of the business, just kept teaching. I got my instructor's license. And I started working for the cable company. I did that because I was looking for stability. And I did it for a few years, and then I realized, you know what, I really love real estate. Like I appreciated real estate now that I had taken a step back from it, and I appreciated, the time that I had, and I understood that if I worked hard, I would see the reward, right? So I got back into real estate. But right now, my focus more is on training and education, and the reason why is because that's my why. I enjoy that. I love seeing agents grow. People just in general grow, right? In whatever capacity, whether it's, career-wise, spiritually, mentally, just, I want to see them do more. And I think naturally, it's once we leave high school or college and we're out of that circle, we all kind of tend to close up, right? Or we stop growing, because now either, if you think about it, you you're working at a job, your community now is your coworkers, unless somebody gets fired or, leaves or whatever. And you're just here, there's really nothing else pushing you, growing. A lot of folks are just here, and they get stuck. And I see a lot of those stuck people because they come in to take the class because they want to do more, but they don't know where to go, how to do it. They just see the stuff on TV and they want to make money. So for me,
if I'm hearing you correctly, I'm gonna put you against the wall then.
Okay.
So if you had a choice to generate more money by selling houses and buying houses, helping people buy houses, or generate money by teaching real estate, and you can only choose one, which one would you choose?
Teaching real estate.
Say that again?
Oh, teaching real estate.
Really?
Yep, hands down.
Wow.
There's more reward there. For me, it's more rewarding because I see the growth and I see how I can impact somebody's life. Buying and selling.
So tell me a success story then, just based on that, just based on what you've seen.
So, I'll give you an option. I have an agent that's with me now. She took my class 2 years ago. When I opened up my own brokerage, she came on board with me, and now when I migrated to exit, she's with me now. Here's a person that she had a career, doing something else, zero knowledge of real estate, and she is getting ready to close on $1 million deal. She's doing phenomenal this year. Like it's unbelievable. Things are just starting to materialize. And it's because she's putting certain things into practice, and that's the stuff that I like to see. That's the stuff that I'm like, yes, you're doing it. You're learning. You're taking the information. You're doing something, and I can see her mind opening up and understanding different concepts, different angles, and just professionally growing. That's what I enjoy. And not just her. I have other agents too that'll reach out to me from different brokerages, which I'm okay with. I mean, that's fine. We all work together, right? So, for me, there is no competition. We need to do a good job, universally overall as agents, right? We need to make sure that we always have our best foot forward. But that's what I enjoy. That's what, is why I teach and even the students, I get folks with like, Luis, we didn't think that I would ever be able to achieve this. Now I got my license and I'm ready to go and I'm inspired. I see that I can get to where I want to get to, and that real estate could be that vehicle to do that.
All right. Tell you what, my ears are telling me one thing and my eyes are telling me something different.
Okay.
Meaning that it sounds like you're at the stage in your professional career where you are giving back. But then again, you still look you're still young in your carear, so that's typically someone who's at the tail end of their career.
Oh, okay, look, this is just Bath and Body Works. That's it, that's why I look this way. Just kidding.
No, but seriously, man, that's a huge compliment. That's a vision,
Thank you.
To see what you want to accomplish through others. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't see that too often. Is there a trick to it or what?
No, look, it's hard. I shouldn't say it's hard. It's, I think nowadays I see a lot of folks are just driven by the numbers, driven by the dollars. Mm-hmm. And listen, of course it's nice to have the dollars, but for me, it's not the number one factor. So this is what I believe in, right? If you take care of other people, people will take care of you. That's it, right? And if you do that with the idea, like honestly, like if you do that without the idea of, okay, I'm going to put something into you. Now you have to give me something. I'm waiting for you to give. No, you just have to give. Okay. You give and you will receive. It's going to happen. Right. But you can't give with the ideas that I'm expecting to receive. Right. You can't do that. So if you just give openly, you're going to be taken care of. And I'm a firm believer of that. And it has been. So, and it's things are just happening. Like, for instance, look, my classes, I really don't advertise a lot of my classes. My classes fill up from other students. I'll say, look, I have a class coming up. Matter of fact, I have a class starting December 1st. And the only reason why I did it, I was going to end I just finished a class last week and I'm like, I'm taking the rest of the year off, right? And folks are like,
now your class is for licensing? Is that what it is?
For licensing, yeah, for my pre-licensing course. And, they're like, Luis, like, I got folks that want, I'm telling them about the class and they want to get their license, they want to do, and they want to get ready before the new year and so forth. So I got all these folks, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to do another class. And already, half the class is already full. I haven't even advertised it. Today I was going to do a video and just say, all right, hey, do an announcement, I'm doing the class. And I'm like, I don't even think I have to. I could just kind of,
really?
Just let it go. Look, which is nice, right? I'm humbled. I appreciate that. But it's for me, it's just, that reminds me, when I see that happen, it's like, okay, I'm making an impact. I'm touching people's lives. People are seeing that, I'm for real. This is what it is. I want to see you do better. And I know everyone can do better. And there's plenty of business to go around. Like, I don't know why, some agents get so nuts as far as, well, I don't want to see that person succeed because they're going to be taking food off of my table. Listen, unless your table is massive, I mean, there is so much business to go around that whoever wants it can do it and be successful and be okay. We all can play together nice in the sandbox. We just got to do that,
And I like your honesty, your candidness, your straightforwardness. So the question I ask myself is, so why is it that real estate agents or people in real estate get a bad reputation? Where did that come from?
Lack of education. Lack of education, and then modeling the wrong people, right? So if you think about it, right? You have a kid that's spoiled, that's rotten, or whatever it is. Who do you look at? You look at the parents. How do you allow that, right? Or where did they get that from? What are they seeing that they're copying, that they're mimicking, right? Has to be at home. That's what you're looking at. So when I see agents or hear of agents and they're conducting themselves a certain way, then it's the broker. That's the broker's responsibility. I'm going to tell you, and the broker too, the broker's not stupid, all right? Especially where, everyone, they work in a different area, but people, like no matter where you are, you could be in Arkansas and you put a group of agents together and be like, yeah, that person's a hack. This one, everyone knows who they are. So the brokers know, but they're chasing it's all about the money. Okay. And the reason why, and it's another thing that I'm passionate about, it's because of this new model that these brokerages are adapting, where they're capping out agents. And it's a huge, huge mistake. It's forcing, it's creating.
What do you mean capping on agent? Help me understand it.
So a model that we're seeing now, and particularly more in the Northeast, is that a broker will hire some agents and say, listen, you're going to pay commission until we receive X amount of dollars. After we receive X amount of dollars, we're going to give you 100% commission for the rest of the year. Okay. Now, as an agent, you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. 100% commission, woohoo, great, right? Yeah, sounds good. Here's the problem. It forces the broker to look at you as a number. That's it. So if the brokerage wants to grow and wants to hit certain, numbers, then they have to hire more people. And really, they may look the other way if you're doing something that may be, unethical or whatever it is. But as long as you're bringing in the money, great. I get to hit my sales goal because as a broker, just as what I want to hit, I need to hire people. And what they don't realize is that it hinders their growth. And the reason why is because as an agent, you have to understand you cost them money now. If the broker says, I can only make X amount of, I'm going to use this number, 21,000, just 21,000. Let's say the broker says, I'm only going to make 21,000 off of you. Okay. I have to be careful, calculated as far as what I offer you for services, because whatever I offer you, I'm taking away from that cap, right? I'm losing money now because I'm not going to gain that. The only way I'm going to make a profit is by hiring one or two other agents that can get to the capping level so I can make money, right? Versus having a group of professionals that work extremely well together, a cohesive bunch that can make this mega team that you're looking for, and you're able to offer them more services. They're going to make more, even if you don't cap them, it doesn't matter. They are going to be producing where they're going to be making money. And the brokerage now can work on continue developing these people and not have to go out and get all these other folks that don't work. Listen, I know, I've seen it. I was part of a brokerage. We had over 125 agents at one point. And you know what? It was a freaking nightmare. Why? Because you had different personalities, people with different splits. And it was like, everyone was just kind of fighting each other. It was crazy. It was like this one was competing with this one. And it wasn't a cohesive group. And you can't give your attention to 125 people all at the same time if you're only one person, right? You got to have a system in place. So, for me, it's a bad idea. And what I'm seeing now, the newer models that we're seeing is that, they're telling brokers, you want to hire 50 agents and you want to cap them at $8,000. So just bring in $8,000 in commission. That's it. $8,000 from each agent, then give them 100%, but bring in 50 agents.
All right, cool.
They're like, oh, okay. So you look at 8 times 50, you're like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. Well, you can make that same money with 10 agents that are producers that are amazing and not have to cap them. Even if that 90%, these agents will see the value in paying you 10%. I'm just saying, like,
you make it sound too good to be true or too easy. And if it's that clear, why are people not doing it?
Doing what?
You gotta ask yourself.
What, the capping or not capping?
Well, focusing on the money as opposed to the development of, their agents in that respect.
Because that's why people get into business for what are they attracted to? The money, right? If you see you see a hot girl, right? And you want to talk to this girl. What's the first thing you see? You see her. You see her physical. That's going to make you want to go and talk to that person, right? If you're not attracted to what you see, well, you're not going to go over there, right? Or vice versa. So people are attracted to that because they're like, oh my God, I want to be $1 million listing. I want to do this. I want to make all this money. And when they sit and they talk to the recruiters, because that's what it is, when you talk to these brokers, a lot of it, they sit you with a recruiter. That's their job. And they paint this picture like, oh my God, you're going to be amazing. You're going to make over 100,000 and blah, blah, blah. And you have to realize that most agents that are coming into play, right, that they're getting their license, they're probably working somewhere where maybe they're making 50, 60,000, maybe 70,000.
Gotcha.
Okay, so once you say 100 grand, I'm rich. That's all I want, you know?
All right. So if I was a student or someone looking to get into real estate or, get my license, you're in Boston, right? Where exactly?
I'm right outside of Boston. I'm in Worcester. I'm about 40 minutes away.
So how to get in touch with you? How would they know about you? How to get?
So online, for the class, my school is Champion Real Estate Academy of Massachusetts. So I'm online. If you go to championrealestateacademy.com, you can see my schedule, and you're able to, view and register right online. My firm, I'm with Exit Beacon Point Realty out in Worcester. And I do have my team. My team is the Homestrong Realty Group, and I have 4 agents with me now that are working under the group and under the team, and we're always looking for more people and developing and growing. And
Got you, man.
I'm easy to get a hold of. Now, so I'll say this: if you text me, you email me, give me at least 24 hours, just because it's not, especially if I don't know the number, introduce yourself. Let me know, where or how you got my info, and I'll certainly get back to you, just because right now it's just this market. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just nuts, with pricing and just demand right now. I mean, it's good and bad, so.
All right. I was going to end it there, but since you brought it up, let me ask you this.
Sure.
What we're seeing is that we have a lot of buyers who are looking, well, we're in Florida, so, it's pretty crazy here. So we have individuals who are looking for homes and just can't find any homes on the market, man. The inventory is low. So how do you solve that problem? And that's what you guys are facing too.
Listen, that's universal. That's what's happening. So what can you do, right? So it's either you focus on getting more inventory, and we can talk about that. Or 2, if you do have buyers, is that you are doing everything to present that offer in the best light possible. And that's whether you're dealing with escalation clauses, if you are, changing some of the, contingencies on it, putting more of a down payment, writing impact letters. You don't know how many letters I've written on behalf of my people. And I'm like, just sign here. That's your job as a buyer's agent. And then, and I think the number one thing that you need to do is reach out to the other agent and have a conversation about your offer, have a conversation about your people, and let that agent know how smooth that transaction is going to go. Okay. And I think it's going to help you put, your best foot forward. As far as working with the buyers and getting their offer, at least in the running.
All right, man. We could go on and on because it sounds like there's no end to your knowledge and stuff like that. But I definitely appreciate you stopping by here, man. It's been very enlightening. So, what type of cigar are you gonna light up today? Huh?
So, I am actually doing I'm working on a video right now. I am going to be doing the Underground Shade cigar. So this is the cigar that LeBron James was smoking. So, when the Lakers won the championship, everyone, you saw him on TV, he had a cigar in his mouth, and everybody said, what's that cigar? So I found out. So I'm going to do a review on that cigar, which will be kind of cool. It's a great brand. It's from Drew Estate. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to give you this. If you're brand new to cigars, you want to smoke a cigar, you're looking for something that's good, anything that's Drew.
Hey, man, I hate to tell you this, man, But your whole personality changed when you started to talk about cigars.
I mean, because it's
Your face light up and everything like
listen, I wish I could smoke in the office. I'm like, honestly, that's one of my goals. I'm like, listen, I got to do something. I could buy a building. I could just start, have my own little smoking room right here. No, but it's just fun. I enjoy it and just learning about it and doing stuff. And actually, the videos I'm really getting a kick. I think I'm getting a kick out of the videos more than people watching them. Just putting my face and my head on other people and stuff. Like, for me, it's hilarious. Like, I crack myself up. I'm like, I'm my own comic. But that's what I'm working on next is the Drew Estate. Drew Estate is the company you want to go to. You will never go wrong with any of their cigars. But I'm going to do, it's called the Underground Shade is what's next. That's what's next.
All right, man. Hey, I can't wait to see that video. And, but definitely appreciate you stopping by. And, it sounds like if you were a coach or something like that, I would sign up for your program. How's that?
I appreciate that. I do have those services available. So if you're interested, reach out to me. I'm a certified coach with Brian Buffini as well as for a Workman. So there's a lot of things we're doing here, especially here at Exit on the brokerage level, that we're doing, a lot of really like complimentary coaching with a lot of our new agents. So, but yeah, absolutely. But Ken, it's been fun. Thank you so much for having me. And if you have any other questions or anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I will do my best to answer them to the best of my ability.